The Ecological Institute for Sustainable Development was established in 1992, almost 25 years ago. So one of the Institute's projects is the Sustainable Village Project. We were called here by the municipality to help the municipality, to revitalize this village. Gömörszőlős, this is the name of the village, is a sustainable village. So sustainability means to live on a very modest ecological footprint. The people in this village, unfortunately, are very poor. Therefore, they live on a very modest ecological footprint. In our project, we like to make people a bit richer, but in the same time, they should stay at the modest ecological footprint. How we can achieve this? The answer, we have to improve efficiency of the resource use. And then we call this sustainable resource use. So for example, this village had 400 people. And what is interesting, we had 400 cattle as well, 1 century ago. So when we started the project, we had only 120 people. The positive thing, of course, when the population is decreasing, the nature comes back. So the plan looks like this. I try to explain you. This is the model of this project. So this green this is Gömörszőlős, this is the name of the village, as a sustainable village. And then we have this big cycle here. It says that this is sustainable resource use. And then the blue parts belongs to the supply parts of the market. And then the yellow is the demand part. In the organic agriculture cycle, we have a small garden to produce goods and then to supply our guests, not to sell it on the market. We have a traditional orchard, a program to preserve the genetics, the local land races. It both concerns the animal and then the different vegetables, and then of course the fruit trees. Because the tourists who came here, first of all, can learn about the whole things. What is the meaning of sustainable development? What is the sustainable resource use practices? We have 2,000–3,000 people in every year who came here. So, and then of course, the aim of the whole thing is to have income for the local people, to stay here, not move as usual, and then in the same time, we need to save a modest, sustainable lifestyle. It looks very nice, but the whole life, the history of these 23 years, just stuffed with struggles and catastrophes and disasters. The weakest point of the whole story is that, of course, money. You can see some of the alternative technologies. The aim to facilitate with such technologies was to help the poor local population to save money. Poor local people, of course, could not put money into an establishment of a solar collector, a solar panel, or these expensive technologies. We changed the concept to the non-market concept. The people comes from the city, they are hungry to work, to do some activities, and then they manage the garden, they manage the orchards, they helped the village and so forth. Of course, they do it free of charge, and even they pay for the supply. So it's looked a very good business, but I have to tell you that, of course, I dislike this as well. I mean, it's a good solution, but it's not normal. Even I would say it's abnormal. This is a compost heated greenhouse. We have this 1 meter deep cavity, and then we have 2 parallel channels in the bottom. It will serve to supply the pre-compost with oxygen and takes carbon dioxide and then the vapor. On the top of these 2 channels, we make a weaving from branches, okay, like this. This is 30 centimeter, and then we put the material on the top. You can see this is straw, and then the green residues, or it comes from the stable and so forth. It's set for composting, which needs the optimal proportion of nitrogen and carbonium. And then you need a perfect insulation, because when you just have a foley, you know that there is no insulation capability of this. So therefore we have this straw base wall actually. Then it's able to manage -9. We start this with in February, and then ends at the end of November. This is the wood dryer, and then this is how you can prepare the firewood for the winter, and then how you can reduce the volume of the firewood which have to be stored in your garden. Because if you do not use this facility, you have to store the firewood for 3 years to get in every year the proper dried wood, okay? And then, of course, using this facility, you need to provide the firewood only just for 1 season. 2 tanks composting toilets. That's the very rare occasion. Okay? So what I do here is that okay, smell this, please. When we use this second tank, the first tank maturing composting. This is my garden, actually. I am not a gardener at all, but somehow I admire the soil, the earth, let's say, and then, of course, we eat vegetables, and then I like to get healthy food, whole food. So the story is that I bought this in, let's say, 2000. I started to manage this a usual way. I mean, usual way, when we talk about usual way, that was the, let's say, bio-gardening. I did not use any kind of pesticides and these things, but you know, I used, of course, the chemical of the plants, like you do in the bio-gardening. But I manage the soil on the usual way. But the soil here is just clay and gravel. So that's incredible. I pursued this practice 2 years, and then I got very annoyed about this methodology. So very, very incidentally, I have to tell you the truth, very, very incidentally, I started with a different method, because I still have horses. I had more horses in that time. And then, you know, I had to do something with the litter. But I had to do because of the austerity, so I established a place for the litter from beton, and then I put the stable straw to that place. And then I managed this like a manure. And then when I got the manure, I wanted to fertilize the land with this manure. But this was quite complicated for me. So I decided, why not to put this litter directly to the surface. And then in 2002, I started to put this stable litter in the autumn directly to the soil. It's, you know, like a mulch. It's like a mulch. But what I did, and that it was not incidentally, that I established a 50-60 centimeter deep mulch. And then what is important, you know, that this litter which comes out from the stable, this is optimal regarding the nitrogen and carbon proportion, because it is the manure of the horse, the urine of the horse, and then the straw. If you keep this litter for a day under the horses, it will be the optimum nitrogen-carbon proportion. The composition process takes half a year, actually. It is ready by the end of May, and then you will get this 1.5 centimeter deep humus, and then you do it every year, and then you see the result here. Finally, you will get a quite deep humus level. Please not to go into the garden, okay? Because it has a special soil condition, so even I go very rarely into the garden. I mean, I like permaculture principle, you know, that's let's do what nature does, so that's all. And then not in the case of agriculture, but all range of the life, I would find this useful to look what nature does.